Welcome to the Go Use Australia podcast. It's the podcast for Australian shooters who just want the political interference taken out of shooting.
So welcome to another episode of Gun News Australia, brought to you by Politics Reloaded and Gun Traders Australia. Once again with Sean Fraser. How are you doing, Sean?
Good morning, Neil. I've been up since it's 7:10 here, but I've been up getting things ready for school day since about 5. So what about you?
Just got up. It's still dark outside. We're going to be looking at guns and buns, or guns and donuts more accurately, which is, I guess, a different business model that it actually stems from a picture which I was sent by somebody in WA who actually mentioned this in the context of a fairly well-known shop owner in Perth. And I'm just going to show it to you. So basically, this is what was sent. So there was no commentary about it. It was just that this particular image had been circulated by that shop owner. So I had no idea sort of what the history to this was. I didn't know whether it was a real photograph or faked or why, but it was quite interesting. So if you look at it, the first thing I did was I suspected that maybe it was a fake photograph that had been actually, doctored. But when you look at it, the edges...
It's legit.
It's legit. And in fact, part of the telltale sign there is not only the edges of how this has been put together, but the reflections within the glass there. Yeah, you can see the reflection there in the middle of a donut. And by the way, for the audio version, we're looking at a desk counter full of donuts and other pastries in a gun shop. So you can see reflections also on the top counter. It's a real photograph. And so
how many donuts do you have to eat while you're purchasing the gun? Is it like a...
we'll get onto that actually. But anyway, so I looked at that. That's a real photograph. Didn't know whether it was staged, but on further examination, in fact, there is a shop. It's actually in the United States that has the donuts, and it's quite a bit of a story actually. It's actually a hardware shop from the Ace hardware chain, which is a bit like the IGA of the hardware world in Michigan. It's a town called Clare. And the story is that there's a bakery in Clare. It's called Cops and Donuts, run by a couple of former cops, and they partner with local businesses to sell donuts and what have you. So this particular shop, I had a bit of a read about it, and you're looking at, they sell something like 50 to 60 dozen donuts and other pastries every morning.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And the margins are higher, as you can appreciate. So, it's a bigger part of their business. So, I found it quite amusing because, well, for obvious reasons, you can actually mix the two together. I didn't think it was possible.
Now, similar thing in Essendon. I'm not sure if the shop's still around. I haven't been in Melbourne, obviously, Neil, for 10 years, but I used to get my hair cut in Essendon, in an Essendon gun shop that had a hairdresser. Do you remember that gun shop?
Not in Essendon, no.
Where was it? It was near Essendon.
No, I didn't grow up in Melbourne. I grew up in Adelaide. Yeah. So, but I had similar experiences there, where obviously, and I think we all can remember the days when you could, guns and swords.
Yeah, I did. I think it was in Essendon. So I literally, because you used to buy. They had next to the hair products, they had boxes of 270 ammunition. So you could choose whether you buy your hair gel or your 303 or your 270 ammunition. The guy was an old school gun shop owner, so he only had really classic guns.
Yeah, and I think one of my first rifles I got from a bicycle shop. So that was obviously yesteryear, but when I saw that picture, I thought as I said, I didn't know whether somebody was having a lend of us or what the story was. Pro shooting stuff is very hard to find. That's why we've got these mouse pads. They're 205 by 145mm in size and feature pistol, rifle and shotgun shooting. And it can be yours for just $20 delivered, or $7 if you're a member of Politics Reloaded, or support us through our Patreon channel. So to get yours, just drop us a line with your delivery address to editor@politicsreloaded.com or use the QR code on the screen. Shooters at Westwood may have seen the new criteria around the mental and physical health checks.
Yeah,
That
which is quite worrying.
So we're looking here now at the new Firearm Authority Health Assessment document, which has been put out by the WA Police. It's an 18-page document, and what it does, it sets out particularly a lot of definitions about some of the conditions that the registry wants to know about. Now, there is some information that will be provided through the assessment that will not go to Western Australia Police, but there's other information that will. But the questionnaire itself, which is partly self-assessment, asks a whole lot of questions. And you can see here some of the definitions that they're asking about hearing functions, about, I think we saw something about, changing body position. So these are things that the Western Australia shooters are going to be asked about. Hearing, mobility, about flexibility of your hands and things like that.
If you look under mobility there, Neil, I mean, you've got changing body, maintaining body position, lifting, carrying objects, fine hand use, hand and arm use. You've got walking. Now, you and I both know a lot of, we know many shooters in wheelchairs. So why would there be walking in there? And also there's a shooter, well-known shooter. He does he's on YouTube. I'm not sure what state he's in. He might be in New South Wales. He's called Bench Rest Marksman. He's the shooter with the who was born with short arms and in a wheelchair. He's a bench rest shooter. He's a very well-known bench rest shooter. He shoots quite well, but he's in a wheelchair and has an arm deformity. And on those two criteria, just on the mobility, he'd be excluded from even owning firearms in Western Australia.
It's such a wide net. I mean, there's obviously visual criteria, there's hearing, there's a whole range of things which, whether you're disabled or not, you're just slightly impaired in some way.
Yeah, what about hearing? I mean, most ex-ADF personnel, like myself, have a hearing impairment from back in the day when in the 80s and 90s, we'd be shooting M60 machine guns without hearing protection.
Yep. And ranges, like pretty much every other building, need to have disabled access.
Yeah.
So this is obviously, I mean, we knew this was coming. There's no surprises about this, but we're seeing the detail of it now, and it is every bit as bad as we thought.
I'm surprised the discrimination department's even onto that.
It remains to be seen where this goes, but they wouldn't be asking for the information unless they were going to use it.
Yeah.
So that's where that could go. So finally, shooters will be aware that there was a fundraising campaign run by Kate Fantanell earlier this year, which raised a lot of money for what she said was a pro-firearms lawsuit. So that went along very well, 170 grand. And in the recent fortnight over Easter, being Easter with Anzac Day sort of right close to it, and a lot of shooters will have taken that time off, right in the middle of that, she released a video where she announced that she has gone to the United States for good.
Surprise.
A lot of shooters who donated will not have seen that video. So we're just saying that if you weren't aware, then understand that Kate's moved to the US. So she's gone, hubby's gone, and that $170,000 appears to have gone too. Nobody knows where it is. So just letting you know, if you're concerned about that, look her up. Ask her, but just letting you know that that's what's happened.
Yep.
So we won't say anything more, but
make your own mind up by watching her videos.
Yes. I guess the good news is that there is a legal action happening in Western Australia. It's not run by her. It's actually run by Politics Reloaded. And that actually is in relation to the new 5-gun limit. And the first directions hearing was held on Friday, the 2nd of May. Now, at the time of recording, it was just before then. So we will give an update of that. But that is the legal action, the only legal action that's occurring, and it's actually badly needed. And you can support that by joining our Patreon channel at patreon.com/politics reloaded, or using the QR code on your screen. And we are working up a second case, but we are looking for somebody to be I guess, the centre of that case. And that's to do with the digital ID requirement. So if you're a shooter in WA who's affected by that, let us know.
Especially if you're a farmer who has limited access or actually no access to internet. Some farmers literally don't have internet access.
Yep. Obviously, also do that have difficulty using it. There was actually a video put out by Bevan Steele, who runs the gun shop in WA. It's actually It goes for about 15 odd minutes, and he spent a good half hour trying to.
Yeah, I saw that video. I wasn't even doing. I was pulling my hair out just watching it, thinking how frustrating.
Yeah, it's a good video. I recommend you watch it. So, but that's the case that we've got lined up. As I said, we just need somebody who's directly affected by that to.
It's designed. Neil's designed purposely to be hard, so shooters literally give up. I mean,
the whole thing.
That's the whole legislation was designed to be virtually impossibly to comply with. Same with their online digital ID stuff. It's hard to do, and it's purposely hard to do.
Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't be making laws like that. Yeah. Okay, well, look, that's it for now. So, look, Phil Fraser again, thank you very much for your time today.
Yep, short and sweet, and then I'm off to work in 5 minutes.
No worries. Okay, thank you. We'll see you later.
Morning.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Gun News Australia. If you're a subscriber to our YouTube channel, you'll get access to every episode when they're published. And if you're a supporter through Patreon, you'll get access to early release of the episodes as soon as they're uploaded. And you'll also get access to our Friday night live streams. So to support our work, simply go to patreon.com/politicsreloaded or use the QR code on the screen, or see the description in this episode for details.